Welcome to the My Creative Days podcast, where we will talk about all things DIY, home decor, decorating tips, and creating a beautiful home on a budget. I am hoping our time together will spark a creative idea, help you plan your next DIY, or inspire you to finally tackle that project you keep putting off. Grab your favorite cup of motivation and let's chat. Good morning, everybody. Today I am talking about yard sales and not just how to shop them. Not that I just love them and you can find amazing things at yard sales, but today I'm talking about how to host a profitable yard sale and how to, some tips and things that'll help you make the process easier and definitely make it worth your time that it takes to host a yard sale. So as I'm recording this podcast, Matt and I, we are in our yard sale week. I don't, for a lack of a better term, but it's Thursday right now as I'm recording this. We had our yard sale, like our pre-yard sale, and I'll explain that here in a minute, last night for a couple of hours. And then we will also open up on Friday. And so how this happened is we always have had sales with all the decorating and redecorating and, just things we're buying for flip houses or things I'm buying for projects for my website. Or if you follow me on my website, mycreativedays.com, or anywhere on social media, you know that I'm constantly searching and hunting for pieces and projects and all the things. So if something comes into our house, since our house is not big, we do need to, I'm not storing things that I don't love, I don't use, or doesn't fit, or, all those things. And so if something comes in, something's got to go out. So we always have enough for a sale. And I am a huge organizer and I love purging things. And I just love to find, better ways for our house to function because we do live in a smaller house. So I can do some podcasts about organization too, because it's something that I love to do. And twice a year, I really go through our house top to bottom, usually like springtime and fall time. And I just get rid of the things we aren't loving, using, not wearing, not fitting, whatever it is, and just go to town. So over the years, we've had kids, obviously, and then, just through different stages in life, and you get rid of things, toys, and, all those kinds of things as the kids grow out of them. People started asking, they wanted to know when we were going to have sales. Is there a way we could reach out to them and let them know? So over the years, I have an email list of over 100 local people. It might even be bigger than that by now, but that want to know when we are going to host sales. And so we kind of host a pre-sale night for those people that are on that email list. And then we open up for a couple of hours on like during the week at night for those people, and then open to like more of the quote unquote public, on a different day. So that's kind of how we do it, and that's how it's worked for us. But it's kind of fun because I love, everybody always says, you need to have a store, you need to have a store. And right now, just where I am with my business and my work, I couldn't put in the time, money, and effort to do that, do it the right way right now. And I really don't think right now where I am, I really want the overhead and all that. So when we do host these sales, I kind of feel like I have a shop for that weekend, like I can decorate it and set it up like I would kind of a shop. I mean, granted, you're working in our yard, and then our garage. So it's not a massive space, but it's still kind of a fun way for me to play shop for that weekend. So I thoroughly enjoy it. It's so much fun. And then those people that are on the early list, they know what they're coming to get. And it's a lot of home decor and things. So that's kind of how we do it. And since I've done it so often, I've kind of found the ways and the things that you should do to make it worthwhile and make it profitable. So I'm going to kind of go over those today with you guys. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer them. And I do have a freebie that we will leave in the show notes here that you can kind of get this list and a little more, actually, kind of see it in writing. And so you can have it kind of near you if you are setting up a sale or wanting to get ready for a sale. So first of all, you should have enough stuff. And so somebody might ask, what's enough stuff, right? I can't say you need 4 tables, 1 hanging rack and a a box full of stuff to say that that's the, right amount that you have to. But I've been to many yard sales over the years, and, when you stop at a yard sale that has 2 card tables, just little square tables set up with a few items on that, it's just not worth all the time, the effort, sitting there all day, or depending on how long you're having it. It's just not worth it at that point. Donate those items. You're not going to make much money, if you don't have enough stuff. So definitely make sure you have enough stuff. You want to give somebody reason number 1 to get out of their car, which we need to talk about. I'm writing notes down here because as I talk, that's how I will remember it. So when they see your sale, from like if they're driving by, so they get out of the car. And then you want, when they're in there or in the garage or on the driveway, wherever you're having your sale, you want them to browse around, right? Like you don't want them to be able to look at, walk up to the driveway, look at one table in the garage and then just turn away. So you definitely want to have enough stuff so people can kind of browse around and look around and, hopefully find something. And with that whole getting them out of the car, I think a lot of people underestimate what their sale looks like from the street or from, depending on where your sale is, from the sidewalk or wherever somebody is going to look at your sale at a glance, right? So it's kind of like having your shop window, right? If you owned a store, you want your shop window to lure people in, right? Lure. Why does that not sound right? When I say that, you want the people to come in. So your window displays and, whatever they see from the outside, you want that to speak volumes for what they can get on the inside. And that's what's going to draw people in. So the same thing goes for a yard sale. If I'm driving by and I see, garbage cans and, your kids' bikes laying in the driveway and, things like that, I may not be, I may just decide to drive on by, but put your best items. If your yard sale is full of home decor, or, you want to bring those people in that are into decorating or might be into repurposing, or, maybe you have some like architectural salvage, or, you want to bring those kinds of people in, put those up front. Those are the pieces that you want people to see most when they're driving by. If you are having, a baby sale and you have tons of baby clothes and baby toys and all of that, and you're looking for new moms and grandmas and aunts, that are looking to buy for a new baby in the family or whatever, you want those items to be front and center. So if you're, 75% of your sale is baby stuff and those are the people that you want to get there, those are the items you want to put out front, right? You want to bring those people in. So definitely don't overlook that part of your sale. You got to kind of figure out, okay, because your goal is, I guess I should have started with this. You want all of those items that you are putting out in your yard sale to go. That just made me think of another thing. I got to write down here so I remember to say that. Your goal is not to keep any of the things. So looking at your stuff, if it's 75% baby, those are the people you want to kind of target or market to in your yard sale. And so, because you want all of these things to go, you don't want to take any of this stuff back into your house. And we'll kind of get to that, as we go on. But so make sure you have enough stuff. Make sure that your window display is bringing in the right people, and so they're not just driving on by. And then this is how you kind of go about all that. So number 1, I always say set a date. So whatever the date is, you need to have a deadline, because I think what happens is for a lot of people, they're like, oh, this house, it's so stressful. It's so unorganized. I have so much stuff and clutter. I just need to have a yard sale. And so they may, at that moment, pick up a box and go through the house and grab, put a box full of stuff together, and then that box sits. When you choose a date and a time and then you actually have a deadline. Like, you have to get this stuff done in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever the date is. So that kind of gives you some motivation. And if I don't get it done here, I won't do it. And I would even go as far as to call your newspaper and put the ad in 3 weeks early, just because then it's like you're paying for an ad, and there's money, a set date behind it, and it'll make you want to get that done. So definitely do that. You need a deadline. Usually I get this question, when do you host sales? I know every area is different. Here for us, it's usually Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. Sometimes Wednesday evenings, but those are, not that you have to have it all 4 days or anything, but those are kind of the days and times that we do it here where we live. But it may just be weekends where you live, or maybe just Fridays. Just kind of look in your local newspapers, your Facebook Marketplace, your Craigslist, kind of see what other people are doing, and that'll kind of tell you when it is. Okay, so then you need to gather boxes and totes. Ask your family, ask friends. When you're at the store, you see empty boxes, ask if you can take them, because you're going to start the purging and the organizing and the getting ready for this sale. So without the boxes, and see, for me, if I see a lot of clutter, I'm fine with, I don't want to see it all the time. So when I am getting ready for a sale, I want to have boxes ready so that as soon as I find items, I can put them in a box, right? They're not laying all over the floor, draped over the couch, where we are like living, you know what I mean? And like need to use that stuff. So I don't want it all laid out. I don't want it on the floor. I want it in totes or boxes so that I at least have a place to put it. And I know all of that stuff is going for the sale, and yet we can still live in our house and use our couch and walk on the floor in the living room. So definitely gather some boxes and totes. And then when you're starting to purge and organize and trying to find all the things that stress you out in your home, there's too much clutter, all of that, be honest with yourself. If something doesn't fit, if you haven't worn something in over a year, it's time to go. If you don't love something in your house, if it's the way it's decorated or what, get it out of the house. Like, it's time to go. You can always find something new, toys that the kids aren't using, books that you're not reading. If you've already read the book, I know people are on different sides of the fence here. For me, it has to be a great book for me to keep it. I would say, I'm looking here in my office, I probably have, maybe 5 books that I've read ever that I've kept. Other than that, I like to read them and then pass them on. So books that you've read or books that you're not going to read. And don't store or hang on to things that you don't love, use, or that doesn't fit anymore. That just takes up, and this goes into like the organization thing, so I won't go too far here, but that just takes up not only prime real estate in your home, meaning space in your home, but it's a lot more about the space it takes up in your mind, and it's stressful, and it's not good. So don't let it take up space in your home. Get rid of it. And then next, I would tell you to get supplies. So the supplies you'll need, and you'll decide, what you want to spend. I mean, you can just use masking tape or painter's tape to price things. I do like to use, there are these tags. I shared it on my Instagram, in my Instagram stories. They're at Walmart. I think they come in packs of 100, but they're just white tags they're like on a string. I love to use those whenever I can. So I use those on clothes. I use those on, items. But for other things like books and things where you can't really like use that string to tie it on, I just like to use plain white stickers. And so that, I mean, like I said, though, we have used masking tape, painter's tape. We've had like, what do I want to say? Like mailing labels, just the plain white mailing labels that we never used. I don't know where they came from, but so I've had a stack of those that I've been using up. So really, you don't have to have anything fancy or spend a lot of money. But you definitely obviously need some kind of sticker or tagging system, markers, tape. I do use like Ziploc bags when I'm trying to put, I'm trying to think like things that need to stay together. So maybe it's like a toy that needs to stay together, or I'm trying to think of like what I just had last night. We had some of these organ pieces that I used to put in a vase, and so I put those in a bag so they kind of stayed together. Little pumpkins that kind of all went together, just different things like that. So I always use Ziploc bags, and I use just the small regular like sandwich size, and then the gallon size. The gallon size for sure is something to have on hand. And then you'll need things like hangers, a change box, or like a fanny pack, or however you're going to keep change. Twine, ribbon, sometimes I use washi tape. I will use small boxes, or like lids of boxes are really good for displaying like books, so you can just see like the titles of the books, or DVDs or things like that, where you can just line them up in a small box and keep them kind of together. Yes, I was just looking over my list to make sure. Those are kind of the things. I mean, there will be other things depending on what you're selling and all that you'll need, but for sure, those are some supplies you should have on hand. Another thing that's good to do, if you can do this, is, and I have done this in the past when I'm pricing things and it's taking me, I mean, I can get it done in a couple hours or an afternoon. I just need to get all the stuff down, and I need to put my mind to it, and I can get it all done. But as you're putting things into those boxes or totes, as you're going through items, if you can price them before you even put them in a box, that's even better for you. It's more time you're going to save when you're actually setting up the sale and like getting ready for it. You just have to bring the things out of the box and then set them up. So if you can price as you purge, go for that, because you will save so much time. So another thing you'll need obviously are tables. So think card tables. And if you don't have a bunch of long tables, you don't have to go rent tables, because that's just an extra cost. We have in the past had like larger boxes. We would flip them upside down, if this makes sense. And then we would put boards across them. So then we kind of had a flat surface, like a longer board. We have also used, I always want to call these seahorses. Sawhorses, same way, and then put a board, or we've even had old doors that we've like put across the seahorses. I always want to say sawhorses, or like the boxes. So just get creative. You don't have to go out and rent tables. And ask family and friends if they've got card tables or things that you can borrow. We have done that before as well. Okay. Another thing is great is to have hanging storage of some kind. So if you have a lot of clothes, curtains, blankets, towels, I'm just trying to think like linen things or clothes, you can definitely fold them up, and put them on a table. But number one, if you don't have a lot of tables, do not take up the space with clothes, because all people are going to do is rummage through those, and you are going to spend the entire day. I mean, you don't have to, but then I was always in there folding clothes, right? Again and again and again. The hanging, it's just better. I think it's easier for people to look through things when they're hung. And it doesn't get as messy, right? People can just go through them and they're not unfolding and all that stuff. So if you can figure out some kind of hanging storage, and we have done things like Matt in our garage, you have like the rafters in your garage, and we had a long, just like a pipe, or even maybe it was a closet rod we had. I'm sure we've had both. I'm sure we've had, and in different years, we've had tons more clothing as the kids are growing out of things faster. Not so much anymore, but think of like a closet rod, or just take it out of if you've got kind of you don't want to have all your clothes laying on your floor, but like if you had a closet that wasn't so packed and a closet rod in there, or like any kind of pipe or anything that you may have in your garage like that. And then Matt would just use like wire or twine to hang up the ends. He'd knot them so they wouldn't fall down. And then he would like connect them to the rafters then at the top of the garage, if that makes sense. So then they kind of hung down, and then we just hung clothes on that. So that's an easy way to do it. Obviously, if you have a clothes rack and those kinds of things, that works as well. But for us, we're always trying to be creative with what we've already got on hand, and not having to, spend extra money to host sales. So those things have worked, the pipe and the like a closet rod hanging from the rafters in the garage. And so when you're setting up your sale, you want to organize items. You want to organize like items with like items. So, and I say that loosely. And the reason I say that is because I'm thinking of like my sales. A lot of my sales are a lot of home decor items. And I always have things like old books, because I love those things and I always pick them up when I find them. But so like old books, sometimes I will use them in different displays around the sale, if that makes sense, instead of having all old books right here. So depending on what kind of sale you have, but you do kind of want to keep things together. So if you have a ton of clothes or a ton of baby items, especially baby clothes or like younger kids' clothes, organize those by size. You definitely want to do that. Shoes, keep your shoes together. If they're not really decorative books, keep all your books together, DVDs together, keep your toys together. You do want to kind of put like items with like items, just to kind of keep things organized so that when I'm coming to your sale and I am a mom of a new baby, whatever, I know exactly, I can see that I need to go to the 0 to 6 month table that you've got marked. And that's where I need to spend most of my time. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's not hard for people to find things and label your things. So if you've got, like clothes by different sizes and you've got like baby items are on a table, they're smaller. Definitely leave signs 0 to 6 months, boys 2T to whatever, though that just makes it a lot easier for people as well. Because if you're busy and people are just waiting on you to ask questions, where do I find this size? Or do you have this size? Or if it's labeled in different areas, it just helps people. It just helps people to shop. It just helps things to run more smoothly. Okay. Oh, and another thing I do, I kind of put this in here is so since a lot of mine is like home decor, so if you have a lot of home decor you're going to be selling, I kind of, like I said, set it up like a store or a shop, and I want to show people how to use the items in their home. So, in a perfect world, I would love to have our house set up inside. And so people, because I love I pick up like salvaged architectural pieces. I use dressers in different ways and I hang different things on the walls. So in a perfect world, I think it would be a lot of fun if I could decorate our home and then have people come through our home and have different things priced, like decorated, and then the things would be priced in our home. So I could show people how to use them and stuff. But that's not going to work, right? To have all these random people in the house. So I try to decorate our sale as if it was in a house so I can kind of show people how to use items. If you don't have the space to do that, and it's not always doable with our space and I can't do it. And in those instances, I will, on those tags, I will write out like how I would use this, or this piece would be perfect for A, B, and C. I could see this hung as a whatever. You know what I mean? So take that little extra time because, if you've got a creative mind, not everybody can see that. And until they actually see it, displayed, or they see, read on the tag that, oh my gosh, I would have never thought of that. And you know what? I need something like that. It just helps them. So if you have the time to do that, I think it's worthwhile. Okay, let's talk about advertising. So advertising, obviously, wherever you can advertise. So if you have local newspapers, Facebook groups, Craigslist, on your Facebook page, on your Instagram page, yard sale apps, wherever you can shout out that you're having a sale is good. And then you definitely, in your ad or in your description, you want to list the things that people are looking for and that you have, obviously. So, if it's baby stuff, you want to make sure you list that. Is it just clothes, or do you have toys? Do you have car seats? Or I don't even know if you can, I don't think you can sell car seats anymore, can you? Strollers, all those kinds of things. Whatever it is, you want to list those items out so people at a glance can say, definitely going here, or nope, I don't have a baby anymore. I don't need to go here. You want the right people at your sale. So for us, I want people at our sale that love to decorate, that can maybe see beyond like what the item is, maybe vintage lovers, antique lovers, furniture, all those kinds of things. So those are things that I make sure that I have inside my sale. Those words, like those key words that people are looking for. You want to make sure that those are in there. So that because you want to grab their attention. So whenever I'm looking at yard sale ads, I'm always looking for those words or those items that, and it may just be, they may have a lot of baby stuff, but then at the end, it's like home decor, antiques, and whatever, because grandma's bringing over, a table of items. So it's like, well, if I'm over there or if I've got time, I may want to stop in there because there may be some stuff that I'm looking for. So just make sure that you list those items in there. And you want to list, obviously, the date, the time, and your address. No early birds if you're not going to open up early. If you only want cash, you want to say cash only. I think that's the main things. That's pretty much, that covers everything that you want to put in there. And then I always get the question, how much change do I need? So for this sale we did, like last night, I had $80 in change. So I had $40 in ones and $40 in fives. Ran out of that in like 20 minutes. Now, and like I said, like that sale like that we host for those early people that are on that email list, things go a lot faster than they will like when we hold it on Friday. So for other people, for anybody that's just hosting a regular yard sale, that should work just fine. And then you do want, if you are pricing things, let's just say this, because I should say this. Do not price anything less than a quarter. I mean, if you're going to put a quarter on items, have a free box. And I'm going to get to that free box here in a minute. But you really don't want to be dealing with 10-cent items, 5-cent items. If it's not a quarter, 50 cents, 75 cents, don't deal with it. Like, just have a free box or just donate those items. Do not, I wouldn't waste your time with those little amounts. So I definitely would say, though, quarters. So if you're going to have some, 50-cent items or whatever, you will need quarters as well. It was so funny. Last night, I'm like, everybody, and here's the thing to remember. So a lot of people, when you're going to yard sales, what do first? I never have cash on hand, so I have to go to an ATM. And so I'm going to get money out of an ATM. What comes out? 20s. So everybody's going to be coming to your sale with 20s. Some people will show up with 100s. And then you're like, right at the beginning, you're like, oh my gosh, there goes all my change. But you just got to keep that in mind. People are going to come with bigger bills unless they're like seasoned pros and know to get ones and fives and those kinds of things. But last night I'm like, man, we are running out of, I don't even have fives. All I had were 20s. And there was a lady there, bless her heart. She, a lot of these people that come on that Wednesday night presale, we kind of know them. And she's like, I just went and got changed. Do you need some fives? And she had stacks of fives that really got us out of a pinch. So that was amazing. But just keep that in mind. You definitely want to have enough change on hand because you don't want to have to turn people away because you don't have change. Can we talk about signs? You need amazing signs. You please have amazing signs. So you can make them. You can go to the Dollar Tree and get the bright pink, yellow, green poster board. You do not have to go and buy, sometimes I feel like the homemade ones are a lot better. Like you can see them, especially if you're putting them on those fluorescent, like poster boards. Your signs will make or break people coming to your sale. And we have heard it over and over and over again. We don't put up signs for like that pre-sale that we had last night, but we will for the sale that we'll have on Friday. People will always tell us, your signs, we could actually see it. You were directing us. I knew exactly where I was going. There's so many times we try to go to sales and then the signs stop pointing them in the direction or they just don't give an address. So here, I hope you guys have a pen and paper out. Write all these things down because this is a big one. Your sign must be bright. It must be, the writing must be, I need to be able to see the writing on your sign from afar. Meaning, by the time I get up to your sign on the corner of the street and, and I need to be turning, let's say, it's too late. It's too late. If I'm having to squint to try to read the words on your sign, it's too little. So your signs need to be bright. I need to be able to read them. Make sure the handwriting is really good and just simple. Make sure the handwriting is big so people can see it before the turn. You know what I mean? Or before, and use arrows. So, your arrows should be as big as your words. It should be bold. It should be the address and the times. So it should say something like this. This is how it should go. Huge sale at the top, let's just say. And then underneath that, it'll have an arrow because you're going to need a few signs because you want them at every corner. And I'll get to this in a minute. You want them in a lot of different corners. And then it should say, so huge sale, and then an arrow pointing wherever they need to be going. And then your address. And then, Thursday, Friday, 8 to 4 or whatever it is. And you want to put them where the most traffic's going to be. So those are kind of like your start points. So we're around your neighborhood where the most traffic will be. You want to put as many signs there as you can. And then as people, so depending on where you started on that busy street, so if you're going to turn from that point, then where am I going to come to next where I'm going to have to turn? Then you need another sign there. And then I have to come to another spot. Do I have to turn? You need another sign there. And then you need a nice big sign in your front yard. Put it on a ladder or just another big bright sign in your front yard so people can see it, coming down the street. So you definitely, every time somebody has to turn from wherever your start point is, you need a sign with a big arrow in big letters where they need to go next. Because if not, you will lose so many people. And Matt and I, we give it one sign, maybe two. And then if it's, we can't figure it out, then we're done. So we don't go. So your signs are almost more important than your advertising, because people that are not even looking for, sales in Facebook or in the newspaper or whatever, they'll stop. As long as you can get me there, they'll stop. They're out for a Saturday drive or they're just running errands, they'll stop. Make your signs, and I have seen, if you go to Pinterest and look up, creative yard sale signs, some of them are so funny. Like, the husband's out of town, I'm selling everything. Or, just if you've got like a big tool sale, I cleaned out my husband's toolbox and, something, I've seen a lot of funny signs. So you can definitely get creative with it. But just make sure that those other important features are bold, big, and tell people where to go. And then lastly, at the end of the sale, so usually, if like on our Friday sale, usually towards the end of the afternoon when I know we're closing down, I start putting things at the end of the driveway in a big, like a free box or a free area. Because I know, and this is, I'm encouraging you to do this. Whatever does not sell at your sale goes into your car and you head to your donation area. That's Goodwill, Salvation Army, a church drop-off, whatever it is. You head there that day. Usually they're closed on Sundays, but if your sale ends Saturday afternoon, you still have a few hours to get that stuff to them. So, because you don't want it left in your garage and you don't want to take it back in your home. Do not do that. So, so I know, like, towards the end of the sale, when I know a lot, we're not going to have that much more traffic, I just start putting stuff down at the end of the driveway because I'm going to donate it anyway, right? So if people that come to the sale at the end, if I can put some things down at the end of the driveway for free and they can use it, I am so happy and thrilled, because it's just less stuff that I have to take. I'm not saying you would do this at the beginning of your sale, the first day at the first hour. Sometimes we do have just a free box for certain items at our sale. And people always stop at a free box. Always, no matter what's in there. So think about it. Like, if there's some items where you're like, I don't know, it's just not really, if you're thinking 5 cents, 10 cents putting on items, that goes to a free box. Like, just put that in a free box so you're not dealing with nickels and dimes and all that. It's just not worth it. But start thinking about towards the end of your sale to put some things down at the free box or free area, and people will take it. It's amazing how much stuff has gone just from that free area, and then it's less that I have to take and donate at the end. Okay, I think that is everything. And when you're pricing things, this is kind of something, your goal at a yard sale is to get rid of the items, right? So definitely, just so you know, it is a yard sale and people are going to come to negotiate. Just be open to that as soon as you open that door. And not saying that you have to just give stuff away, but just be open to that negotiation. You can always go back and say, what about this? We're doing that all the time, especially on like this Friday sale. More people will do that. And we want things to go. So definitely have room for negotiation. And then also price your things to sell. Price your things to go. Because if your prices are so high, you are literally doing all this work for nothing, and then you have a garage full of stuff that now you're just going to go donate. So, and you can get a tax, form or whatever from your donation sites or places. But why go through all the work if you're just going to price items astronomically high that nobody's going to pay for? So just keep that in mind. Just keep your prices, it's a yard sale. So you want to keep your prices at yard sale prices. So, but it's so much fun. All of these tips, I want to encourage you to host one. People say, oh my gosh, it's so much work. It is. I mean, you get in a flow though. And if you do some of these things that I said, it makes it a lot easier, but it's also kind of fun. Like you get to meet people, your friends come. I mean, for us, it's just, since we've grown it and done it so often, it's just, like I said, it's kind of like having a shop for a weekend, and we get to see people that we don't get to see often. And it's so much fun for us. But I do always encourage people, if you have enough stuff to host a sale, it's worth it. Oh, one more thing I'll note too. We like to host our sales like way at the beginning of yard sale season. Like we want to be one of the first yard sales that opens up. So we're talking April. We are having a yard sale. And then when we're doing our fall sale, we want to kind of be one of the end yard sales, where people are like, oh my gosh, there's going to be no more yard sales. And they kind of want to get that last fix in. So that has also been very helpful for us because people are itching to get out to yard sales, after a long winter. And so to be one of the first ones, people are ready to get out and go to yard sales. Same with the end of the season. And this will be different depending on where you live. Like if you're in Arizona and it's sunny all the time, you can have it all year round. But definitely you don't want to have it around any holidays. For us, we actually go by, this is so funny, but we go by football schedules. So our local football teams, if there's home games or different things like that in the fall, we won't have sales on those days because people are usually at the sales. So think about those two I didn't think about that until right now, but when you're for your dates, try to go as early as you can in the season and try to, drag it out to the latest you can in the season. But then look at those, open your calendar. And is it Easter weekend or is it, just different? Is it Labor Day weekend? Usually people are out, and they're doing that last summer vacation or whatever. So you definitely want to keep that in mind. Are there local football teams where people always go to the games in the fall? Those kinds of things you definitely want to think about when you're deciding on what date to do it. So, okay, I think that's it. I could talk about this forever. If you need any help, let me know. You can email me. Definitely check the show notes for the freebie where I kind of list some of these things out so you can have it next to you while you are setting up for your sale or getting ready for a sale. But do it. I'm encouraging you to do it. If you have enough stuff, it is worth it. And maybe you can get some extra money for a vacation or to pay for the soccer league you want your kids to be in or groceries for the week. Depending on how much you have, it's definitely worth it. So I hope these tips helped, and until next time. Hello, friends. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I am grateful that you tune in every week and that you share the show with your family and friends. I love having creative chit chats with you, and my hope is that this podcast will inspire you to try a new project, start a DIY that you've been putting off, and decorate your home exactly how you want it. There are a few ways you can help us with the podcast. Follow the podcast so you don't miss an episode. And if you could take a few minutes to leave the podcast a review, that would help us so, so much. Again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to our chat next week. Bye-bye.